Alright everyone, welcome back again to more Fate Stay Night. Look at Saber in all her regality. She is awesome. Maybe that's why I had a vision of her. Her soul must still be on the battlefield. It's not yet dawn. She stands under the indigo sky and lets the wind whip at her as she stares off into the distance. The sky is high and clouds slide by overhead. Out in the clear air, sword in hand, she gazes at the great army she's about to confront. That image of her won't leave me. It's burned into my mind now. She and her sword are one. The sword from the stone which chose the king. The brilliance of the sword that determined her fate is also her brilliance. But I tilt my head in wonder at this dream. That sword isn't the one she holds. It's similar, but different. The sword she holds now isn't the one she used last night. But if that's the case, what happened to that incredible sword? Hold on a second. New servant data, new everything. Alright. Alright, first Saber. Oh, we got her info now. Let's go. King Arthur, the legendary hero of England, is immortalized as the once and future king. Okay, we know that. He is a hero who is widely known as an icon of chivalry. However, he is not just a legend, but also someone who is said to have actually existed. In his earliest chronicles, the real King Arthur is called Dux Bellorum, the King of War, a great general who led the 12 kings of northern England, the Gododin, against other tribes like the Picts and Scots. There are several theories about the identity of this great general, and some say the king may correspond to two different historical figures. One is Arthur the Briton, the other is Artorius the Roman. The accomplishments of both have synthesized into the legend of King Arthur, still famous to this day. Arthur became king after drawing a sword upon whose blade Merlin the mage had inscribed the words, "The one who pulls this sword from this stone is the King of England." From there, countless stories unfolded about King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table. He was born of a tryst between Uther Pendragon, the King of the Britons, and blue-eyed Igraine, wife to the Duke of Cornwall. Paying the price for pursuing his love, King Uther enlisted the help of Merlin, entrusting the mage with the child born between himself and Igraine. Vowing to rescue Arthur, who carried a great destiny from the royal crisis and guide him onto the correct path, Merlin placed him in the care of Sir Ector, Uther's loyal knight. Ector adopted Arthur as his own son, raising him until the day he drew the sword of appointment. The trials and travails that awaited Arthur after pulling out the sword and becoming king would later fill the tapestries of history, becoming a grand narrative that is representative of chivalry in the Middle Ages. King Arthur's accomplishments while reigning over Camelot, the White City, and saving England alongside his many great knights cemented him as a hero. His famous sword Excalibur is not the sword of appointment. It is the sacred sword that Arthur received from the Lady of the Lake under Merlin's guidance after the sword of appointment was lost. The Lady of the Lake, Vivian, became Arthur's fairy guardian after bestowing him with Excalibur. Morgan Le Fay, Arthur's lifelong nemesis, exists as his guardian, fairy Vivian's averse. However, as a fairy of the lake herself, she too was sworn to protect the king. King Arthur commanded his knights of the Round Table to seek out the Holy Grail. The search for the Holy Grail is central to the Arthurian legend, but ultimately only 3 knights were dispatched, and Arthur himself did not journey with them. The peerless knight Lancelot could not reach the Grail due to the stain of infidelity on his heart. His son, Galahad, was able to obtain the Grail but chose to relinquish it. In the end, the legend closes with King Arthur's death. Arthur's life is punctuated by clashes with Morgan, his half-sister from a different father, as she attempted to kill him many times. And his legend is ended by his bitter conflict with Mordred, the knight who was born from Morgan's orchestrations. King Arthur's fall begins when his most trusted knight Lancelot disappears after dishonoring himself by adultering with the king's wife, Guinevere. Losing his trusted companion, his holy scabbard, and even control of his kingdom over the course of his final journey, King Arthur sees his final battle of Camelin. On the verge of his death, he entrusts Excalibur to Sir Bedivere, who returns it to the Lady of the Lake. King Arthur's body is transported to the Ladies of the Lake to Avalon, the land where heroes sleep. It is then foretold that in England's hour of greatest need, Arthur would awaken from his slumber and save his country once again. Oh, that is a cool lore. I like that. I never knew that part, at least. Arthur carries the red dragon, the symbol of the Britons, on his back, and he himself also bears the dragon attribute, because he carries the attribute of a dragon, a creature that is the embodiment of mystics and predominance. He has a powerful magical energy characteristic. However, he's not well matched against servants who have a background in dragon slaying. Well, that makes sense. Alright, her skills have been updated. The ability to constantly sense the best course of action for oneself during battle. A well-honed sixth sense is akin to precognition. It reduces disturbances that interfere with vision and hearing by half. Mana Burst A. It wraps magical energy around their weapon or her own body and improves its abilities by releasing that energy in an instant. In other words, it is a jet thruster made of magical energy. Not only does Saber use magical energy for swordplay, she also utilizes it for defense and movement. She's able to fight Berserker despite having the physique of a young girl because of her massive amount of magical energy. Which makes perfect sense, actually. Excuse me, guys. There's something in my throat. I don't know what it is. Okay. An ordinary weapon that has no powerful divine protection cannot endure her magical energy field attacks and would be destroyed in a single blow. And her charisma is a B, the natural ability to command corps. It improves one's own army skill in group battles. Charisma's rare ability and being B rank is said to be enough for a king of a country. Woo! Woo! That's our Saber. Alright, I think we got all we needed to know about that. Weapon-wise, the Golden Sword of Assured Victory. Whew! Oh, look at its magnificence. Alright, details. A sacred sword that represents King Arthur, England's King of Knights. Caliburn symbolizes the king whom the mage Merlin led to pull the sword from the Stone of Appointment. It is distinct from the sacred sword Excalibur bestowed by the Fairy of the Lake, and its characteristics as a noble phantasm differ somewhat. However, Saber seems to be profoundly attached to this sword. Since swords are a symbol of power, the Sword of Kings have always been relegated to an ornate ceremonial role. This marks the largest difference between Excalibur and Caliburn. In exchange for its regal beauty, it is nowhere near as effective of a weapon as Excalibur. According to legend, Caliburn broke when King Arthur fought in a battle that violated the principles of chivalry. I like that. And so we continue. When I awake from my dream, I find myself in my own room. It's bright outside. I must have come back from my room last night unable to make a decision, then fallen asleep while I was watching over Saber. It was a strange dream. What I saw, I had no way of knowing any of that, and that wasn't the Saber I know. Is it even possible for me to dream of such a thing? I racked my brain. Saber's identity had been unclear, and honestly, I still can't get my head around who she really is. Saber is Saber. I can't change the way I act around her, and I don't think Saber would want that in any case. She looked really cool with that sword last night, but she looked good with the sword in my dreams too. It'd be fair to say I was in awe. The sword last night and the sword from my dream seemed to have left one hell of an impression on me. I guess I got a thing for swords. Heh, no kidding. I thought Lancer's Spear was beautiful when I saw it too, but my passion for swords is on a whole other level. It would appear I have a thing for swords. I draw in a deep breath and reach up, finding my forehead dripping with sweat. I wipe the sweat from my forehead. It's winter, but my body feels flushed. I don't know why, but it feels like my blood is getting hotter, and it's unsettling. My whole body's been hot for some reason. My left hand, the one with my command spells, feels like it's holding a hand warmer. I take a deep breath, trying to calm myself. She still hasn't woken up, but it looks like she's stabilizing. Her breathing is even, and that pain look she had last night has smoothed over. Saber's sleeping peacefully. It's a morning like any other. Maybe if I let her sleep, Saber will recover. That way, I won't have to make her kill anyone. Then she could stay with me, just like she has been. I slam my fist into the wall. My own weakness nauseates me. I stand up without another sound. I don't know when Saber's gonna wake up, but I have to make a decision before she does. Tosaka's not up yet. The house is completely dead and the corridor feels deserted. No, it only feels like that because I'm so down. I can't decide what to do, so the whole world feels hazy, and I'm just wandering in that grayness. Huh? I hear something cutting through the air. I know that sound. Well, I don't feel like making breakfast, so I'll go take a walk and check it out. It's colder than usual. Must be really cold for me to feel it, feverish as I am. It looks like it might even snow. The sound of something slicing through the air reaches me at irregular intervals. As I cross the yard, my breath mists the air. I find him in front of the shed. Given how unsurprised I am to find him, I guess I figured he'd be here. He must have been shooting his arrows. The moment Archer sees me, he lowers his bow in displeasure. He doesn't have to tell me that. So the sound was just his bow itself. For some reason, Archer was just plucking his bowstring, not firing arrows. His lip curls snidely. I still can't stand this guy. I see. So his wounds have healed. That means Tosaka will get back into the fight. I turn on my heel. If Tosaka and Archer are going to rejoin the battle, I need to make a decision too. I need to go somewhere I can think alone.
斬新という言葉があるな。
え？
ことを済ませた後に保つ間のことだ。私の弓術とお前の弓道で唯一共通しているものがそれだと思うのだが。
なんだよ。お前なんかに八節を解かれる覚えはないぞ。
まあ聞け。矢を放った後、体は自然と場に止まるという。それを斬新というそうだな。
Yes, there are 8 movements in Kyoto called the Shaho Hasetsu, which are the 8 principles of shooting. The final step, Zanshin, is what follows after releasing your arrow.
ああ、それがどうしたって言うんだ、お前。
心構えの話だ。斬新とは己の行為、 放った矢が的中するかを確かめるものではない。矢とは放つ前にすでに的中しているものだ。射手は自らのイメージ通りに指を離す。ならば当たるか当たらぬかなど確認する必要はない。射の前に当たらぬと思えば当たらぬし、当たると思えば当たっているのだから。
そんなことあるか。どんなに当たるって思っても当たらない射はある。思うだけで当たるって言うんなら誰だって百発百中だ。
そうかな。少なくともお前は百発百中だろ。
He catches me off guard there. I mean, he's right, but...
まあそんな話はどうでもいい。言いたいことは一つだけだ。斬新とは矢が当たるかどうかを見極めるものではない。放った矢がどのような結果になるかなど分かりきったことだからな。ならば斬新とはその結果を受け入れるための心構えではなかったか。
分かってる。要するに最後まで見届けろって言いたいんだろう、お前は。
そういうことだ。セイバーのことは聞いた。彼女がこのような状態になるのは初めから分かっていたことだろう。魔力の提供もなしで戦っていればいつかは消える。それはもう決まっていたことだ。ならば
all that's left is to accept the result. He's telling me that no matter what I decide, no matter what it does to Saber, all I can do is see it through. I turn my back to Archer. This time, I'm gonna be the one to leave Archer hanging.
あ、それともう一つ気がついていないようだから教えておこう。
His voice comes from behind me.
セイバーはな、宝具を使えば自分が消えると分かっていたはずだ。彼女はおそらく最後まで宝具を使う気はなかったのだろう。
This time, I hear nothing of his usual sarcasm.
にもかかわらず宝具を使った理由は一つ。セイバーは自身が消えることよりお前を守ることを選んだのだ。それを決して忘れるな。
For once, his voice is completely sincere. He's only telling the truth here. The park is empty as usual. Maybe because it's chillier than usual. There's hardly anyone out. It looks like I'm the only one walking around right now. I slumped down onto the bench. Well, I came here to be alone. Now that I'm here, I should think of what to do next. I can't put my decision off any longer. If I want to defeat the Elder Masters and end this Holy Grail war, I need Saber. That's not what this is about, though. I just don't want to lose Saber. But that means I'd have to have Saber attack people like Ryder did. I can't let her do that. Giving Saber that order is as good as telling her to die. Besides, I think she'd just refuse outright. But when my head slumps down, I see my left hand. I have 2 command spells left. If I use one, I can force Saber to obey me even if she refuses. I bite my lip and shake the thought off. It's ridiculous. Time slips by me as I sit on the bench. I have no idea how long I remain sitting there. But just as my fingers start to tremble from the code, Ilya.
もういないと思ったらこんなところにいる。
I look up, hearing a voice calling to me.
やっぱりそうだ。こんにちは、シロ。浮かない顔してるけど、何かあったの？
イリア、お前また一人でこんなところまでやってきたのか。危ないぞ。どこにマスターの目が光ってるか。
I'm about to warn her that other masters might be lurking nearby waiting to attack. I catch myself realizing how stupid that would be. Ilya's a master. I shouldn't be worried about her. We're enemies.
悪い。今はイリアと話をする余裕がないんだ。せっかく会えたけど、話し相手になってやれない。今日は冷えるし、帰った方がいいぞ。
I don't get up from the bench as I dismiss Ilya. There are plenty of things I'd like to talk to her about, but I can't think of anything other than Saber right now. What's going on? Ilya doesn't say anything. She's looking at me as if I'm a stranger.
イリア。いや、別にお前を邪険にしてるんじゃないんだ。今はちょっといろいろと立て込んでいて。
知ってるわ。セイバーが消えかけてるんでしょ。それでシローはどうしようかって考えてるのよね。
Just out of nowhere, Ilya's voice has gotten so cold and detached.
イリア。
そんなことで悩むなんてバカみたい。シローがそんなだからライダーのマスターにも逃げられたのよ。負けたやつなんて殺しちゃえばいいだけなのに。
I move my feet. Something tells me this isn't the time to be sitting, so I shift my weight forward to get up. But my body doesn't move, as if I'm entranced by Ilya.
イリア、お前、なんでそんなこと。
言うまでもないでしょ。昨日の夜ね、私もあのビルにいただけよ。もっともさすがにビルの中で様子を見てるしかなかったけど。
I try to make my hands and feet move, but nothing happens. No, it feels like the more I try to move, the stiffer they get. It's those eyes. Whenever I see Ilya's red eyes, my senses go dull.
あ、もう金縛りになったんだ。シロったら守りも何もないんだもの。一人でいれば簡単に捕まえられるって思ったけど、こんなに簡単に行くなんて可愛いな。
いや、
無駄だよお兄ちゃん。そうなったらもう動けないわ。もうじき声も出なくなるけど心配しなくていいよ。私もね、今日はお話をしに来たわけじゃないもの。
Ilya's eyes blaze with murderous intent. This is Ilya as I saw her the other night, Berserker's master.
俺をここで殺すつもりか。
I grit my teeth and gather all my strength. But my fingers won't so much as budge. It's like Ilya's stare has frozen every nerve in my body.
うん。だってもうマスターでいてもしょうがないでしょ。セイバーが消えたらシローは一人きりだもの。いつまでもマスターにさせてられないわ。戦う手段がなくなったシローなんて簡単に殺せるんだから。
Ilya raises her hand. Her slender white fingers reach for my chest.
他の人に殺される前に見つけられてよかった。それじゃあおやすみなさいお兄ちゃん。どうせセイバーも消えるんだから早い方がすっきりするでしょ。
My vision fades. My limbs have gone completely numb, and now I can't see either. How long have I been stuck in this darkness? Before I can figure out whether I'm alive or dead, I lose consciousness. My body's burning. Even if my consciousness has fallen to darkness, the burning in my body tells me I'm still alive. Yes, that must mean I'm still alive. Even so, it may only be temporary. Ilya even said it.
戦う手段のないシローなんて簡単に殺せるんだから。
Shirou needs to work on his guard, especially his mental one. She's absolutely right. Without Saber, I can't fight a proper battle. A Holy Grail war is a battle between servants, and there's no way I can go up against servants. That's been proved more than enough by now. Each time I got absolutely thrashed. Like Saber said, all I can do against servants is try to survive for as long as possible. I couldn't even do that. I was cut to pieces and even thrown out the third-story window. It's only this weird, inexplicable thing going on in my body that's kept me alive. It's so frustrating. It makes me so angry. In the face of an unbeatable opponent, I couldn't stop the catastrophe in front of me of my own, even though I decided to fight. I said I was going to fight as a master and vowed to not hurt anyone, but I couldn't even keep those promises. I'm pissed off. The champions of justice I strived to emulate when I was young always had to win, or there would be no point. My body's burning. Every inch of me trembles with the need to win, but I have neither the means to win or even a way to fight. What good am I? I can't even fight alongside Saber without bringing her down.
それも間違いだ。エミやシロウは格闘には向かない。お前の戦いは精神の戦い。己との戦いであるべきだからだ。
Suddenly, I remember Archer saying that.
戦いになればエミやシロウに勝ち目などない。お前のスキルでは何をやってもサーバントには通じない。
I know that. I've certainly been reminded more than enough.
ならばせめてイメージしろ。現実で叶わない相手なら想像の中で勝て。自身が勝てないのなら勝てるものを幻想しろ。
You don't have to remind me. I can only win in my own head. What can I imagine that would ever help me win? I can't imagine beating a servant. I don't have such a wild imagination as to fool myself. Any fantasy I come up with will be full of loose threads that will come unraveled. My third-rate imagination hasn't got a prayer against these incredible servants. That's why. Who do I win against? And how do I win? I'm still searching for that answer. Am I really searching for it? That golden sword? It's meant only for her. I don't want it for myself. It's so beautiful. Just once, I'd like to hold it in my hands if I can. I guess this is just a bad habit I picked up as an untrained mage. Since all I can do is look within myself, I tend to dream about stuff I shouldn't. I should at least be allowed to dream. First, I imagine the thing's basic structure, then reproduce it. I guess there's not much point in strengthening here. If strengthening is an act of applying something to an existing object, there's not much point in doing that to something that doesn't even exist. That means I need to work harder if I'm going to remember that sword. This is well before the basics. This is from before Kiritsugu taught me strengthening, a magecraft process that I thought up on my own and packed with trivial steps. Let's see, how did I do it? How did I give it form? When I come to, I have no idea where I am.
なんだここ。
This place isn't just unfamiliar. There's a luxurious canopy bed, and the plush carpet is ankle deep. There's even a stone fireplace, and it's clearly not just a decoration. What I initially take for wallpaper, I realize on inspection, is actually patterns engraved on the wall. I've gotten used to fancy decorations like the ones in Shinji's mansion, but this is something else entirely. It's a little embarrassing to say this out loud, but this place is like a castle from a fairy tale. Until you realize it is a castle. My vision blurs. My body feels strangely heavy. Maybe I'm having circulation problems or something. I feel like I might fall back asleep if I relax a little.
何がどうなったんだっけ。
I try to get my clouded mind working. I was... Oh, right. Ilya paralyzed me and I just passed out.